art. Art is a medium that has defined human culture for eons. Since time immemorial, people have used art to share stories and emotions. In the background right now is Habanera by Georges Bizet, a French artist who was born in the 1800s. The song twists and turns through emotions, going up and down. Without a single word, it tells a kind of story. It blends all the instruments in it amazingly. Drums, flute, trumpet, violin, and more, all put coherently in a beautiful and graceful way. And then we have art as we see it today. Jack Harlow, Ice Spice, OpenAI, and more are all contributing to the death of art in one way or another. Art is simply dying because of the mass monetization of it. We have a lot of ground to cover here, but this whole thing is irrelevant because everything causing art to die boils down to one single thing: the mass monetization of art. If you take anything away from this, just know that nothing I'm about to say matters. This entire video is just adding to the simple, undeniable truth that monetary gain is killing art. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the Billboard Hot 100. As of February 2024, the 3 most popular songs on the Billboard Hot 100 are all singles. And that is because of the commercialization of art. Let me explain. You see, the reason that all these songs are singles is because singles are infinitely easier to produce than full-on albums, making it easier to mass produce them for commercial gain. The single by Jack Harlow, "Lovin' on Me," is the most popular song on the Billboard Hot 100, and has been for about 6 weeks at the time of recording. I asked my friend Shar, self-proclaimed music enjoyer and creator of the song Sussy Balls, please do not ask about that, his gripes with "Lovin' on Me" by Jack Harlow, and he said,
"I hate this song because the sample does all the work for him, the beat is generic, and the lyrics are boring."
And I agree. That at times it's somewhat dissonant. Also, the lyrics are basically just, in summary, BDSM. No, my crush is a boyfriend, and I want to have sex. What kind of song just has 3 lyrics spun in different ways? I mean, come on. "Lovin' on Me" is a rap song, and it disrespects the entire genre. First of all, the main rules of rap are flow, rhythm, and wordplay. I am now going to play a snippet from "Lovin' on Me" that desecrates all 3 of these rules.
Don't know what you heard or what you thought about your boy, but they lied about your boy, going dumb and it's something idiotic about your boy.
I'll admit that rhyming dumb and something is clever. Did you notice that he said boy 3 times in 2 sentences? It just doesn't sound right. So how did this top the charts for 6 weeks? I don't fucking know.
Don't know what you heard or what you thought about your boy, but they lied about your boy, going dumb and it's something idiotic about your boy.
But you lied about your boy going dumb and it's something idiotic about your boy. What is the wordplay there? What does that sentence even mean? He starts by talking about other people, but they lied about your boy. Then he talks about the boy themselves. How are the actions of other people the fault of the boy? And at that, the line "going dumb" is just there to rhyme with something. Recall I was ranting about the top 100 earlier. So what do the top 3 songs in the top 100 talk about? Well, "Lovin' on Me" by Jack Harlow is just sex. "Lose Control" by Teddy Swims is about his mental health regarding sex. "Beautiful Things" by Benson Boone is about his partner, and it's actually romance, except it's cloying and it feels desperate. You know, it feels more like he's just trying to use romance as a way to get to sex. Notice how the top 3 are all singles, which, as I said, is a sign of monetization, all about sex, something that most adults can relate to, and all by white men, the largest majority of people. This is a clear sign of the monetization of music because they are trying to pander to the largest audience possible. For the longest time, I've wanted to be an artist. I wanted to, make something creative that people would see, and that's kind of why I gravitated towards YouTube, and that's kind of the reason I'm here making this now. And it just really just kind of hurts me to see all of these genres of art taken over by monetization, because when I was a kid and I wanted to make art, when I first had that dream, I wasn't really after money. I just kind of I wanted people to see what I was thinking. So let's talk about visual art, like, paintings and shit. There are two reasons why visual art is dying: AI and a little bit of the commission system. We'll get to that later. AI art is becoming too much for real artists because not only can it make quote-unquote art, it can make pretty good photos of humans, like Hatsune Miku, the infamous Taylor Swift photos, and Too Mad. These two problems are creating a literal and a metaphorical deadline for artists. For one of them, commissions, that deadline is likely shorter and set in stone, obviously, because you're like told what you're just. But for AI, that deadline is a lot further, and at the same time, it's a whole lot shorter. The deadline for artists caused by AI is that AI can make things much faster. Something that might take days for a real artist takes a few seconds for AI. But there's a second deadline. A deadline that when we reach it, signifies that art is dead. Eventually, when AI gets too good, people won't want to commission an artist. Because humans are slow. They get ill, they fall asleep, they need to eat and drink, and they struggle with production, and most of all, humans require money. Basically, all this means that cheapskate companies like Disney will use AI instead of artists. Individual cheapskate people who refuse to learn art don't commission people. Instead, put Hatsune Miku punching the screen because I want Twitter to riot into an AI, getting a result, and posting it. Okay, so I said I would address commissions, and let's be real, commissions can't be replaced. Commissions are the reason that artists have to learn art, because if you can't get money from your job, then you'll end up like this image, alone, playing Valorant in your mother's basement, and overdosing on fentanyl. The reason is that the artist isn't deciding what they are making. They might have creative freedom in their own art style, but they aren't deciding what their prompt is. If we're talking about art created for the sake of making art, which I will call emotionally driven art, then something like the Alzheimer's paintings by William Urtemolin is art. In case you didn't know, the Alzheimer's paintings were created by William Ozerman, I hope I'm saying that right, as he was struggling with Alzheimer's. He was previously a great painter, so as his Alzheimer's got worse, he created self-portraits of himself. William died at the age of 73 in 2007. The Alzheimer's paintings give off a sense of almost despair, despite the fact that they were made in spite of despair. While commissions are, they're likely not emotionally driven because you're not being paid to make something like an abstract painting of your emotions. Instead, you're being paid to make others' desires or emotions into art. When I was still doing, just random phone-recorded YouTube videos in my room, I remember that I did have I started to have dreams of getting famous, and I feel like from there, I kind of tunnel visioned on it. My content, it got worse. Not saying that it was good, but I was making more of them because I saw what other people were doing rather than making them for me. And I never got burnt out, but once I started editing, I did get burnt out because I wanted to make something I love. We're going to talk about YouTube now. And before you say anything, I'm well aware that YouTube isn't conventional art, but it is a medium of displaying emotion. The curiosity for what is possible makes creators like Vsauce, The Game Theorist, and challenge running YouTubers like P-Chow and Captain Kidd do what they do. Parody, comedy, and comedy sketch videos are actually the one thing I think can't be replaced by AI. And they are arrested on YouTube with creators like JonTron, Scott the Woz, Tomska, Daniel Thrasher, and many others. podcasts are technically art because they are just people speaking their mind. They have to have some kind of emotion, even if that emotion is just hate, misogyny and homophobia. Joe Rogan. While we're talking about shitty creators, we can talk about why art on YouTube is dying. And the answer is content. It's content farms. Fuck content farms. All my homies hate content farms. What's a content farm? You ask, a childlike wonder in your eyes. I look up at you because I'm 5'8" and simply answer, it's bullshit. Content farms are as a sniper wolf. They're lanky box. They're My Story animated. You see, content farms are YouTube channels that simply exist to make revenue by pumping out low-effort videos, usually for children because they're most susceptible to this kind of marketing. SS Nightwolf makes low-effort reaction videos that get millions of views, and she makes approximately $8,000 to $127,000 per single fucking week. But surely it's not all bad, right? At least her content might be a little good. I'll watch them just for you. He makes $9,000 to $145,000 per day. Oh my god. In summary, YouTube as a medium is not dying, but art on YouTube is dying because of the mass production of videos. I wonder where I've seen mass production and mass monetization ruin other art forms. As time went on, I just started to feel more and more powerful. Something about being able to call myself a YouTuber and an influencer blinded me. When I realized what had happened, I started to hate my work. I tried to hide my work, but then I felt superior to my old self, and I felt more powerful. I felt like I was better than before I knew that what I was doing was bad. Let's talk about literature. There's a very, very simple explanation for why literature is dying. Two, really. People don't want to read, and for people who do want to read, writing takes a long time because there are so many words out there. It's much easier for me as a YouTuber because I just have to write funny words and find sources, but imagine writing a whole fucking book. Actually, that's a good video idea. Let me write that one down. And then it comes down to the death point of all art again. AI. In about 11 seconds, ChatGPT could write a chapter of a book. Specifically, Chapter 7 of the non-existent book, Echoes of Eternity. How long does it take a human to do that? Well, to test, I wrote a page of a Google Doc from a prompt given to ChatGPT as a writing test a bit ago, and that took me about 30 minutes. Assuming that a given chapter is 3 pages, that's about an hour and a half. Minus planning, probably 30 minutes to an hour. And ChatGPT could do that all in 11 seconds. All of that work in 11 seconds. A Google search says that books should have about 12 chapters. That means that not including the hardest part, planning, a book would take 6 to 12 hours non-stop to write. ChatGPT can do that in 1 to 2 minutes. Imagine for a second if To Kill a Mockingbird was made in 2 minutes, or if Shakespeare's plays were made in 2 minutes. And at that, people don't want to read books, because you'll have to sit down and use your eyes to concentrate on nothing but dead wood for however long. I'll be real, I don't read books either, because I just can't concentrate on a book. Like, as I was writing this part of the script, I was actually fidgeting and listening to music. I could try reading a book while listening to music, but then I would forget what line it's on, and then I'm like, okay, dude, how come I forget? Besides the point. Literature, as we know it, is dying, and has been since the 2000s, because of low attention spans, because of videos, and because of AI. Its current resting place is pretty much YouTube. Video essays and audiobooks are the new Safehaven of literature. It's changed form, but it's still alive, for now. Video essays are starting to see cracks, and they're dying to content farms, because of course content farms are also ruining this shit. If you haven't watched H-Bomber Guy's video, Plagiarism on YouTube, he basically talks about these cracks in video essays, which is a 10 out of 10 watch, and I would recommend it to anyone. Absolutely love this man. The death of literature rests with the common people. And by common people, I mean us, obviously. And we're not helping to keep it alive. That's simple. And AI is contributing even more to the death of literature. And then I started to edit YouTube videos, and I gained an appreciation for how people made videos. And as I realized how hard it was, I couldn't help but feel bad for how little I cared. And I felt sympathy for the people who make videos. I've always wanted to share my thoughts and my opinions, my morals, my messages. I want someone to know what I think. And that's why I'm here now. So I'll leave you with one final message. Art isn't dead. We didn't kill art. We tried to kill art. We threw everything we could at it. We've thrown AI. We've thrown our own attention spans. We've thrown everything, but art persists. Art has existed since the first humans clashed stones together rhythmically, and will exist until the last human hits a sick riff on their guitar before succumbing to their zombie bites. Art is humanity. Humanity is culture. Culture is eternal. Until humanity is washed away, art will persist and persist and persist and persist and persist and persist and persist. Goodbye.